I got hair in my mouth.
Hey, you did it. You
All
did
right.
the eight. Yeah.
We're so trendy.
Hey guys,
What's up, Jordan?
do you guys hate traffic as much as me?
I don't know. I can't speak for Alex, but I think I live in the second most driven / congested city in the United States, and he lives in the first. So we love it. We love traffic.
So let me ask you this, and you guys are both mathematicians, right? So I need to know some math. I need some math here. Because I'm one of those guys when I drive, I sometimes go pretty fast. And when I say fast, I mean like above the limits of the law.
How many tickets you had? What are we talking here?
Total?
How many total? All in tickets your lifetime. Go.
Month? What do you mean?
Speeding tickets. Go.
Speeding tickets. I don't know the exact number, but I'm guessing it's like 5.
Mine is 1. My number is 1. Ever.
Okay, Mr. Follow the rules all the time. Except for once.
Except for one time. I was
What about
17.
you, Alex?
Yeah, once in Jasper, Georgia, I was driving from college home, and it was one of those cities that was a speed trap, and it just paid it.
Yeah, I can picture the officer in Jasper, Georgia, right now. What? Why are you going so fast there, boy? Where you headed? What's the big rush? What's the deal? What's happening here?
Just it's my first year of college.
Apparently, I'm talking to that teenager on that Simpsons show because that's what you sound like, boy.
That's gonna come out of my paycheck.
My mom's gonna kill me.
I don't understand, Jordan. You said you like to drive fast. I asked how many tickets have you had in your life? You said you went from I can't remember to 5.
I mean, it's just a ballpark, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't. Those are things like negativity. You get it out of your mind. You just like you throw it out. So those are things I don't want to. I don't want to keep track of all my tickets in my mind. I need space for good things.
I'm sorry. I jackknifed this conversation. What was the point of you asking about traffic?
Because mathematicians. So I need a math problem here. Because I was thinking about this today, that I know why I have a reason why I will go above the speed limit. And it's not just because I have a need.
Oh my God. I knew this was just a big freaking setup for a Top Gun line. Like the whole time you started the conversation, I go, he just wants to say I have a need for speed. That's the whole point of this whole story. And it took you 5 minutes to get there. Are you happy with yourself, Jordan? Are you happy with yourself?
I am happy with myself, I mean, you throw out the negativity and you keep the good, and then you're just happy with yourself all the time.
Now he's just doing a facts of life reference. You take the good, you take the bad.
That's what we're talking about here, man. You got to talk about the facts of life.
Sure.
But so here's the deal. So there are a lot of people that drive under the speed limit. All right, I'll get to my point quickly here.
No, you won't.
I
That's
highly
not
doubt that.
true.
I highly doubt that.
So you get stuck behind this guy going slow, and you kind of, when you leave, like, I'm someone who plans. I plan the trip. My timing. I know I could, if other people weren't in my way, I would be everywhere on time all the time. It'd be like perfect. Someone flies in, from out of town, in the airport. I'm picking them up. I roll in right when they walk out the door, and they just go, "Whoa, all right!" Like that's what I can do if no one else exists. But
You are a character from a Woody Allen movie, like spot on.
But sometimes there's these people that drive slow, right? So what I will do is I will say, okay, well, since I was stuck behind this guy going 50, now I'm going to have to go 70 for the next 10 miles so that I can keep, because it's about being like, my trip is going to take me 30 minutes, God forbid. Like, it's going to happen. So if you slow me down, I'm going to speed up and I'm going to catch up. I'm going to get back on track. So my question is, if I'm driving 30 miles,
Oh my gosh.
at 55 miles per hour,
Sure.
the speed limit is 65. If I'm driving for 55 miles per hour for 10 minutes, how fast would I have to drive to recoup that time?
No. See, you're thinking about this all wrong. Now that we have driving apps that tells you estimated arrival times, all you're doing is fighting the clock, right? So if you do get behind that slow driver for 10 minutes, you know exactly what you have to do to fight the clock to get back to your original arrival time. Now I got to make up 4 minutes. I got to make up, 2 minutes. That's the whole point. We're not going to break this out into a SAT problem here. We're not going to talk about it.
I want to know the math behind it.
No.
The answer is 65 miles per hour for 10 minutes.
Boom. The more important point, Jordan, is left lane versus right lane. Here's the pink is the left lane. The aqua is the right lane. All right. This is the only conversation that should ever be had about roadways. We all understand that passing is for which one of these colors?
Pink.
Okay. So the pink is the left lane.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you pass on the left. But here's the real question. And this is just for anybody watching right now. This isn't even our topic. Jordan put us in this predicament. And I apologize to everyone viewing. If you have a driver in front of you going 2 miles per hour over the speed limit in the passing lane, and they are passing people in the passing lane only 2 miles an hour over the speed limit, but it is taking them an exorbitant amount of time to pass people, but they are passing people and actually going over the speed limit. And the person comes up behind them going 80. We're talking 20 miles an hour over the speed limit and starts tailgating the bejesus out of the other driver and just hardcore tailgating, even though they're a passing person. They are still passing in the passing lane. Who is in the wrong in that scenario?
The one in the passing lane going 2 miles above.
Wrong. You and I can no longer be friends anymore now that you said that. You and I can no longer be friends anymore now that you said that. I am so passionate about this topic, and I'm not even going to let Alex talk.
You know what you're saying about me? I'm taking it and I'm throwing it out. I'm throwing it out because I'm a good person and I'm still your friend no matter what you say. Out.
Go ahead, Alex. Answer the question.
I'm sorry. It's been so long since I spoke. What was the question?
I'm not rehashing all that. You got a person in the passing lane that is passing people. They are actually going above the speed limit.
The person's supposed to pass in the passing lane. That's supposed to be open unless you're passing.
So they are passing. They are 100% passing. They are going slightly over the speed limit and passing other cars. Then you have somebody who's going 20 miles an hour over the speed limit, pulls up on that person who is passing and starts tailgating them for the next 2 to 4 minutes as they pass people. Who's in the wrong there?
Well, you're supposed to be like 2 car lengths behind the person.
Sure.
You're driving, so obviously that the person in the rear should not be tailgating. I believe you're allowed to go like 6 miles over the speed limit before a cop will even spend any time on pulling you over.
Is that an official response?
Well, I'm the person in the wrong.
No. The 6 miles an hour over, is that in a book somewhere?
No, that's like baseball. Like that's
Yeah,
one of
wink,
those-
wink, nudge, nudge rules. Yeah.
waddle, waddle. Know what I mean?
Mhm.
I mean, 2 miles an hour over the speed limit is not fast enough to pass. I mean, it's fast enough to pass, but it's not fast enough to. I mean, that's not enough. That's not enough.
the
You're not
speed limit.
you're not passing,
But that's the speed limit.
but you're not passing. 2
It's
miles.
not
That's
speed
that's
limit.
too.
It doesn't
That's
say.
like
It doesn't say speed limit unless you're passing.
Jordan, you got 3 18-wheelers in the right-hand lane. The speed limit is 60 and they're all going 57. The person driving in the passing lane is going 62. 5 miles over an hour over all the truckers. It's going to take them a little bit of time to get around the truckers. Meanwhile, you get Angry Gus back there in a lifted Ford F-150 just getting pissed all off because he was going 80 and now you made him step on his brake pedal. How the audacity that you made Angry Gus step on his brake pedal, and I am now in a lifted F-150 with my high beam brights on, pushing right into your rearview mirror because, my God, this boy needs to learn. This brother here needs to understand that when this big boy truck comes along, you better get to stepping to the right because this is my lane, son, and you will adhere to my roadway policies.
You know, Angry Gus has one of those stickers on his windshield of Calvin
peeing on the Ford logo. Absolutely. Absolutely. Angry Gus is a great name, Nick. We all know Angry Gus is a solid character name.
So our topic for today are dad duties.
Don't come at me with logistics and
and what is expected of the modern man.
This is
And while we talk about it, I'm going to put on some eyeliner.
Oh, that's right, because we owe the people at home. You're going to be wearing eyeliner for this. Are you doing a tutorial, Alex?
Later. Okay. As tutorial as I can tutorial.
Got it.
Let's do that.
I can't really see because the mirror that I have is so very little and so very tiny.
It's so tiny.
But it brings out my eyes. It's my understanding that whenever doing your eyeliner, the first step is to open your mouth as wide as you can. I'm under, and for some reason your eyelids then open with them. So
is you putting on guyliner just like the perfect bridge to the modern man?
Has to be, right?
It has to be.
It is.
So
is metrosexual still a term that is widely and commonly used?
So open your mouth as wide as you can and look up, and you're gonna take a little glob of eyeliner and you're gonna try to
Look up.
Look up. I gotta look at me though.
Oh,
I'm doing it.
Don't you have an issue with things being so close to your eye?
Is that a brush or is that a felt tip?
Yeah.
I hate it. There's so much tension right now looking at you. I hate it. Oh God, no! You just poked your eye. Oh no!
You don't want to paint the inside.
Oh my gosh! Can you say why is the rum always gone?
Why is the rum always gone?
Nailed it.
Mm-hmm. All right. While Alex puts on the guyliner, Jordan, I'll ask you the first question. So, what are your responsibilities and your duties in the home, and who assigned those duties? Was it you? Did you assign yourself these homely duties? Homely duties is a great name, by the way. Or was it your wife?
Well, I can tell you that I'll start with there are two particular duties that stick
that's
out.
thick. That is thick.
That's what she said.
Is that done now?
The
Or, like,
bottom
do you
is
have to,
done.
like-
I won't put any more on the bottom. No, I then have to do the top.
Do you have to, like, kind of, like,
No,
mess
I
with
won't
it? Or
touch it. I won't.
Are you trying to do a wing? Is that what's happening here?
There's always like a little cat eye that seems to happen with me.
Okay, got it.
I always give a little. I always give a little swoosh.
Yeah, you're feline yourself. I got it.
Yeah, it's my aromatherapy.
All right,
So,
two duties.
So mowing the lawn is mine, and taking out the trash on trash day. Those are my duties, and I'm trying to think of how they became my duties.
Well, you're a man, right? Like, isn't that the classic stereotypical two things that like men do is lawn care and take out the trash?
I think that's the crux of the question tonight, right? Like, because those used to be the stereotypical things that all men do, and those are the first two that Jordan went to. I'm sure he does more duties in the house.
Third, catching bugs. Clearly,
Apparently, clearly, yeah. He's the in-house exterminator.
I'm hoping.
Honey,
that's
there's a
what's
bug down here.
happening. Daddy's talking with his friends.
I feel a little pressed that Jordan instantly only named off two duties, and they were both the typical duties. Jordan, please tell us there are more duties that you're responsible for in your house, or at least shared duties.
I just said those were the first two that were obvious and came to my mind that those are 100% my duties.
Got it.
I also I also grill.
God, please, what are we? What, like, I'm sorry. What is happening? Are you a character in the
Like,
show Mad Men?
Over the hill.
It's but I mean, I'm just being honest. Like it is. I don't know. It is the stereotypical stuff, but I didn't say. Well, I mean, mowing the lawn. I love doing that. I just enjoy it, and so even when my wife will offer to, like, she's capable of doing it, but I'm just like, no, man. I like this is my time. I put on the headphones, and I just know what I'm doing, and I just love it. What about you?
I am responsible for all dishes. My wife has not touched a dish since we've been married, and that started as she was gonna cook, and I would always do the dishes. But now I've usurped, I guess, anything that is cooked on a skillet. So I do all skillet and grilling as well, and I do all laundry. And that started because my wife hated folding socks, and then I just started taking things over in that forte. And then like you, I think yard work is very therapeutic. I like getting a little sun on the weekends as well, so that's nice. Put on the headphones and dance while I mow. That's always a fun thing to do as well. I don't have to touch any math homework or taxes, which is really good.
Oh.
So my wife graduated with a degree in mathematics. She's a school teacher, and she does all the math homework, and I do all of the English and grammar and science.
So
homework.
then, so you tell me then, like, so did you guys sit down and talk about this, or you said these are what we'll do? I'll agree to do this. You do that.
Yeah, and they've shifted over time, like cooking and laundry.
All right, update, Alex. What's going on?
With my eyes,
Yeah.
I've completed both of them. Now I need to close one eye and try to do this again. This is always where I fail, because this is where I blink. I sit there and I just do this a bunch. So this is where I got to keep one eye closed. And I actually have dad duties, as you can hear in the background, as well. Which brings me to, I'll do that as we talk. My dad duties. I share taking out the trash, but not at night. Once it's nighttime, the trash is just not going outside because there are spiders out there. Yeah, but we share taking out the trash because it seems to like that's your job ish for that to like essentially I'll do it. But if I like forget, it's not like, hey, the trash still hasn't been taken out. It then becomes like, the trash then gets taken out.
Doesn't shared duties though get kind of difficult because then you're always getting in the conversation of, well, I did it last time. No, you didn't. I did it last time.
I feel like shared duties is like, you got full, you should take it out. And then you start playing that game and like, I can fit something else in there. Like everybody knows the game, I can fit something else in there.
Of course. That's what she said. Kind of like, I don't know if y'all are paying attention, but Nick is just like going ham in the comments right now, just throwing his wife under all of the buses. Like all of the buses. He's like, I do this and I do that and I do this. I've actually done all these things.
I take care of the kids. That's another one that is more modern. And by
Nick,
that,
what would you say that your wife does?
Yeah, right. I mean, and just to correct you, Alex, I believe that when a man takes care of the kids, it's actually called babysitting. Just gonna throw that clarification.
You're right. I babysit my kids.
It's all true. Nick is just doubling down, going, nope. My wife is gonna stay under that bus. I do everything.
Yeah, I don't think there's nothing that we do that is truly shared, like the way you were approaching it, Marty, where it's not like you do it this week, I do it next week, you do it. There's no like back and forth for us. There are some duties where it's like I'll do it most of the time or she'll do it most of the time, except for when they can't and it's not like a problem.
Yeah.
Does it become like a thing? Like, I took the trash out.
Well, yeah. Then it's all the like math/column games that you can get into. But I think that's why it's so important to talk about who's doing what duties beforehand. The problem is when you go into a new phase of life. So what we're hitting right now is carpool to activity phases of life, which is a whole new ball game with us. We have two boys. They're both in multiple activities. All at different times. All weekends are just completely out the window when they're both doing soccer. They're both doing Boy Scouts. They're both in tennis lessons. My son started Destination Imagination this year, which is a huge time suck.
What is that?
It's a thing that Jim Carrey spawned off of Imagination Emporium. It's something that I don't know what it is.
You need to talk like a pirate from here on out. Man. Like, don't use your normal voice anymore.
I guess. I mean, if it's a pirate, I can talk like a pirate.
This is thick. Are we going out in normal society with this level of thickness?
I'm a rock star, okay? I don't care, Dad.
I don't want your life.
I don't want your life.
I don't care if it's 1 a.m. I'm gonna go to IHOP and drink coffee.
The angst that builds inside of me, you'll never understand.
Yeah. Did Nick ever answer in the comments what his wife does?
Help if she needs to.
Oh my goodness.
Arr.
So I'm going to take us full circle then. So Jordan, after hearing all of these shared dadly duties / dad duties, is there anything that you would like to start doing in your house that you think would help at all? Maybe.
Would I like to start doing something? I feel like I've spent the bulk of my first 11 years of marriage convincing my wife that I contribute to. So I've got a lot of things in my holster of like, I do this, I do that. Like I can say that all I do lots. I do a lot, man. Is there something that I think that I should start doing? Now that's a question.
So I will admit and make myself look bad. Have you ever done anything incorrectly that showed a level of incompetence, but on purpose. I definitely have to try to get out of things that I don't want to do. And one of those was coaching soccer. My wife voluntold me 2 seasons in a row that I was going to be the soccer coach. And by season 2, I was not having it. I don't have a love or a passion for the game, which is a huge problem. And young children playing soccer is a hodgepodge mess of. I don't do well with young children. I do really well with like the 8 to 14-year-old group, and I feel like that coaching that level, gold. But 6 and 7-year-olds, not so much.
I get commended on my patience at that level. They're just like, I don't know how you do it. And I'm like, I breathe a lot and I count down from 10.
Stop talking like yourself, man. I told you the rules. You gotta talk like something else.
Arr,
Your eyes are beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. I'll just still do a little of this then. It'll be drunk Johnny Depp.
Are you done now?
I've finished. I've completed.
Can you get closer to the camera so we can see this? A little bit of guy lighting for the guy lighter.
It's not my best work, but it is in a dark room where I've got very little light.
That's an aggressive swoop. Like Nike would be proud.
It needs to last all night.
Why?
I sweat and I smudge and I sweat and I sing and I shanty.
That's just another way to say he goes to the bathroom in the middle of the night.
I piss everywhere.
A pirate's life for me.
Have you done that before? Sorry, I'm going to get off topic. Have you done that before, Alex, where you've gotten a little bit too inebriated and went number 1 where you shouldn't have?
Oh, no.
Really?
I can't think. I have a story of a time when I was sleeping in a living room on an air mattress, and my friend came home drunk, and he thought the Xbox was the toilet, and it was right where I was sleeping. So I had to get up so that I didn't get splashed Xbox urine on me. True story.
I turned 30, had a birthday party, got entirely too inebriated. So inebriated, in fact, that I was standing 6 feet away from my sister, looked at her for like 20 seconds and then said her name. And I went, Vicky, right? Like I couldn't recognize my sister. And apparently in the middle of the night, I just stood up out of the bed, turned to the side, and started peeing against the wall. My wife was just slapping my backside as hard as she possibly could to try to get me to stop. But I think that just helped.
Just quicker.
Yeah, and then just got right back in bed like nothing happened. Like I did what I needed to do.
Yeah, dude, that's tomorrow's problem.
Mm-hmm.
I had a similar story to Alex's where I came home and I was sharing a room with my best friend, and I came in the room and I started peeing on my stereo.
You didn't like the song.
Yeah. But he stopped. Like, God bless him, man. I got some great friends in my life. He stopped me. Well, didn't stop me. I finished. But he cleaned everything up.
Oh, wow.
Did he at least record you?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. He just told me how disappointed he was in me and talks about it to this day.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed in you, Jordan. Answer honestly, if there were a copious amount of cell phone footage of you ages 12 to 24, how much in trouble would you be today?
A lot. What do you want, like a scale of 1 to 100?
Like yeah, a scale from no, I'm good. My life can totally be out there to I would be in prison. That's your scale.
I don't know about prison for me, but certainly like
in a courtroom.
Well, certainly people, the cancel culture of today would not approve. What about you?
No, I'd be fine.
Of course, yeah. Mr. Squeaky Clean. One
Mr.
one
Squeaky Clean.
ticket.
One speeding ticket. Yeah, there are like Nick just brought up VHS tapes. There is a VHS tape of me floating up there somewhere, where we would go to Hobby Lobby to get supplies for like some sort of school production or art project, and we found these really, really scary looking dolls that shouldn't have been produced, that shouldn't exist in society, and we thought it would be a good idea to purchase them and take them home and burn them on the grill so that they no longer existed, and film us doing that, which is like low-level serial killer like intro stuff, looking back on it. So yeah, there are those tapes floating out there somewhere. But those dolls deserved to die.
How do your kids get to school?
Mine?
Mm-hmm.
So both of my boys ride the bus. My youngest is in kindergarten. He just started riding with his brother on the bus to and from school every day.
Jordan?
That's kind of a shared thing. My wife usually, it's whoever has the least busy day. If my wife has a day off, she'll handle it. But sometimes she'll drive them to school. I'll pick them up, kind of back and forth.
What about groceries?
Well, hold on. You got to answer that your own question.
I don't have to do anything. I'm a pirate. I like to walk or take the bike to school. And if she's working, I'll do it. But if it's her day off, sometimes I'll still do it. But if I'm working, then she has to do it. Because that doesn't happen a lot. So I get to sleep. Or I don't sometimes. A lot of times. It's majority rule. Majority is mine. I am the captain now.
From a movie. What was your follow-up question?
Shopping.
Groceries.
Yeah, I can't stand the grocery store. I don't like places that have lots of people, and people's awareness level seems to go from low 90s to close to zero in a grocery store for whatever reason. Like, I just think my basket is more important than your basket, and my pathway is more important than your pathway, and I'm going to stand way too close to you for no reason.
Have you ever been at Trader Joe's?
Yeah, those were designed to be as tiny as possible. No, like scientifically by a German company. It was, how tiny can we create this box, and how much crap can we shove into that box, phrasing, before it becomes too tight and we can maximize profit. And that's the whole point of Trader Joe's.
I won't even go in that box. I get claustrophobic in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't put Alex in a box, man.
No, or in a corner. Please do not put Alex in a corner.
Or on a plank. Don't put him on a plank.
Yeah. No, I can't see in grocery stores. And when they started delivering to your house, that was a game changer for us. So we'll sit there on a Sunday night, figure out what we want online, planted delivery on Monday night or Tuesday night, and just have them bring it right to our house. Mm-hmm. The only thing that we will now go into a grocery store for is meat and seafood, so that we can select our own product. And we actually have a local butcher that we can do that at now, which is great.
What do you think stuff like that is doing to our society and our kids, even, where, like, my wife and I were talking about this the other day, that especially since COVID happened, you got the quarantine period, and then now you've got so many different ways to not interact with people,
mm-hmm.
and go grocery shopping without seeing people, like, how do you think that's going to impact our children?
Well, you remember the movie Wall-E?
I hated that movie.
Did you? Well, we'll get closer to that, but I think the size of humanity won't quite get to that extent because there's still going to be a focus on physical fitness. But I think the evolution of humanity, if we stay on this track, our craniums will get larger, our eyes will get closer together and longer. As we communicate verbally less, our mouths will get smaller. We're actually going to end up looking more like we draw aliens today. The longer society goes down this path, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I heard a speaker the other day saying, what are we doing with our children on social media today? And there's nothing that you're doing. This is just the evolution of humanity. If this was the 50s, we would be saying, oh my God, like what's going to happen with our children as they watch Elvis shake his hips? Like, that's just the evolution of what's happening in society. There's always been mentality of kids these days, always, from, greasers in the 50s to, kids, Gen Z today. There's always been the older generation saying kids these days. It was so different when we were younger, and it's gotten so much worse. No, it hasn't. It's just changed. And old people are afraid of change. And we are now moving into that category of being old people, and we fear what we do not understand or know. And I use the vernacular we, but society in general, as they age, they get fearful of what they don't understand, not understanding that it's the evolution of what's just happening.
Arr.
Alex, do you, because you are someone who really likes connecting with people, right? Like in person and everything, like and I know I'm going off topic, but like, has some of this stuff impacted you? Like how much people can just live their life now without even really interacting with people?
I would definitely say that I had to learn what it was like to try to find to seek those connections out in the virtual world, because that's where people stay now. And there was a time where it was more abundant because we're all at home. But obviously there's no substitute for like the real thing, in my opinion. Like, especially if love language is touch, it's hard to gain that virtually all the time.
Do you take advantage of stuff like grocery delivery, grocery pickup, like Uber Eats, things like that?
I don't. It's interesting. I don't use those products. I will go into a store and I will grab my stuff and maybe I'll do the self checkout. Maybe I won't necessarily talk to somebody, but chances are I'll talk to somebody. Yeah, I do. I guess I seek out connections, so I don't use those services yet. But what if, grocery stores like, we're making more money on the online deliveries, let's stop letting people come in. I don't have.
Do you think that's a real possibility? That soon we will just not be able to do that?
The box is going to shrink. That's what's going to happen. You won't have mega super grocery stores anymore. It's just everybody's going to go closer to Trader Joe's. Restaurants are already doing the exact same thing. You do not find 10,000 square foot restaurants anymore. They're all trying to fit into a 1,500 square foot box.
Honestly, the best like shopping model that I've seen is like the Amazon model, where like you put everything in your cart and then you leave, and it like scans what's in your cart as you're leaving, and it's like there is no checkout time. There's no waiting in a line. You just, whatever you took has already been scanned and comes out of your wallet.
We just rolled self checkout at our restaurants this last week. So you're sitting at a table. You no longer have to wait for a wait staff member to drop off your ticket. You literally just scan the code on your table. It already has the food that you ordered. You scan and pay right there at the table and you walk away. No interaction at the end of a meal with a host or hostess or waiter or waitress.
Yeah, so how long before that's just a robot, right? Like you just send the robot out to table 4.
Yep.
Man, yeah, it's so weird to think about that.
So then be the person that programs the robot.
And Marty, you think that we're going to physically change because of that? Like our eyes are going to be wider?
I mean, this is going to happen in like 1,000 to 2,000 years, but yes.
We're going to be hunched over like this because we're always looking down at a tablet.
Well, that'll change. Right? Because like eventually there's going to be something where it's like input in your wrist and you just like, boop, boop, and it goes, the little screen pops up and you can share that screen anywhere you want, make it as small or as big as you want. That's going to happen. And sooner rather than later. But honestly, my real thought, and Alex kind of brought it up, he said, be the person who programs the robot. There's going to be a real issue within the next century of not having enough actual jobs for the people that are alive because jobs will get taken away by automation. So we're going to have to make up really, like, honestly, just make up jobs for people to do. And if I had one piece of advice for like children growing up today, because there's so much focus and emphasis on STEM right now for children, the true stars, 20, 30 years from now are going to be the people who can effectively communicate in interpersonal communication. If you can actually make eye contact and tell someone an idea or sell somebody a product or integrate a team to accomplish a goal, that is going to be a huge skill set that the children today are not going to have because of the manner in which they're growing up. And again, this is not me being old man fuddy-duddy. I'm just literally looking at the landscape saying, well, here's where everybody's going. So if everyone's going that way, the smart person would go the complete opposite direction.
Well, that and information security, because if everything is robots, right now we have no idea how to... We don't have no idea how to secure anything. We don't secure anything. So
there's usually like a year process of like figuring out what you even need to secure, but that takes people trying to get in.
Yeah, how many people buy something that is some sort of Internet of Things thing, and actually do a basic security step by changing the freaking password on it? Like from the default. No one does that. Anyone does that? No one does that. Yeah, you got freaking Alexa, who probably can still be accessed with default passwords. And anyways, I didn't want to go off on information security, but I did want to.
But here I go.
But I did want to transition because. Going back to our topic, like what this is for Alex. This question's for Alex, or Captain Alex. Do you see? So we talked about like dadly roles, dadly duties, and that and expectations for the modern man. How has things changed in those expectations from dadly duties when we were kids to dadly duties now?
Can't you see it on his face? Like his children are in the background actually making noise, and he closes his eyes, literally looking for serenity now. And if this was 15, God forbid, 25 years ago, he would take the headset off and start screaming bloody murder at the children and saying, I'm going to take out the belt, blah, 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 blah. And that's probably that visual Alex just did is the biggest shift in dynamic. Now you have gentle parenting. He's about to go over there and redirect their activities into something more positive and productive.
And we're gonna have to end this podcast really soon because I have dad duties to do, and that's on me. That is a lot of my duties is parenting the kids and making sure that they're not constantly at each other, but they're brothers. So,
do you think we have more dads nowadays that actually want to be involved in parenting?
I would imagine so. I would imagine that's the generational shift from kids from divorced families and single mom families to being raised to seeing their parent kind of alone and not wanting that for their own kids. The hardship is realizing that they still need to be toughened up a little because they get coddled so much.
So that kind of, I agree with what Alex just said, and it kind of goes back to generations, because if you look at every single generation, they parent almost in the exact opposite way and manner than that their parents did, because every generation thinks, while growing up, well, when I'm a parent, I'm going to do it different, and they do it different. They do a different expectation and level of parenting, and usually the pendulum just continues to swing back and forth between more discipline and aggressive parenting to less restrictions and gentle parenting. And right now we're on this swing of the pendulum, and the societal expectation, to your original question, Jordan, is we 100% expect the father to be much more involved in the child rearing process. That is the level of expectation that is put on you. That was not necessarily there, 20, 25 years ago.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I wanted to be, like, one of the reasons, like I just wanted to be involved in parenting, and I told my wife that when we were dating too. Like my career choices and things I did there pretty much all hinged on I want to be able to be a part of the parenting process. I want to be involved in my kid's life. I want to be able to make it to the games and stuff when, and I don't know. It's interesting the way you said it, because I think oftentimes we think that our personality and who we are gets formed. Like you kind of blame it on your parenting, but sometimes I think people think about it like, oh, you were raised to believe this, like what they taught you internalize, and so because of your environment as a kid and how you were raised, that's who you are. When really there's a big piece of it where it's like, yeah, that's kind of true, but you're the opposite. Like there are things that you're the opposite of what you were raised. Like you're in this environment and now you are doing the opposite. And so you can still blame that environment, but you can't just say, oh, because you were raised to do this, that's who you are. No,
well, it completely is contingent on your experience growing up. So if you believe you had a very positive, influential childhood, then you probably will parent pretty close to what your parents did because it worked for you. Why wouldn't it work for my children? But if you view your childhood or your growing up in a negative manner in any aspect whatsoever, and it might have been a fantastic childhood, but looking back on it, you think, oh, well, that wasn't good. I wouldn't have done it that way. If you have that negative expectation, then you are probably going to go completely opposite of what your parents did. Completely opposite. Even if they, looking back on it, objectively did a very good job, if you just have that mindset, you're going to do it the exact opposite way.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's hard sometimes to admit failure, right? So like if you look at what your parents did and in the back of your mind, you would never admit this, but in your conscious says they actually did a really good job. And the self-doubt creeps in going, I don't know if I can do as good a job as what they did. So to counteract that, I'm going to do it the exact opposite way. And I'm going to tell myself I can do it better if I do it a different way.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say we end on that. That's something to leave you thinking more about. I agree with that.
You're here.
Here, here.
Mhm.
Arr.
Arr, we'll see you next week.